Welcome to the Backpacking Podcast. John Kelly here with my good friend Jeremiah Stringer, the king of Kentucky backpacking, and a man with one of the nicest red beards probably this side of the Rocky Mountains.
Well, I can't argue with you there, man, but I do feel a little bit hurt you didn't mention the hair on my head because I actually done a little something with it.
Yeah, it looks good, man. It looks good, but there's something more important than that. And that is the fact that this podcast is brought to you by Outdoor Vitals, makers of Performance First ultralight gear. And they are having a sale right now. They're celebrating 10 years of doing business. And they're having a 10-day sale where everything on the website is on sale.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. And there's some perks that go along with this. I'll just tell you real quick. They're giving away a bunch of free swag and a lot of stuff. And if you buy something, if you're on their email list, you're automatically going to be entered to win. But for every dollar that you spend, you get 10 additional entries into that giveaway. So they're giving stuff away every day for that full 10 days. So if you're listening to this now, it started on August the 19th. You got 10 days, so you better hop to it.
Oh, yeah, it's looking really good, man. It's looking really good. Now, I have to say something. One of the things I love about Outdoor Vitals is they're a company that's been innovating for years. And I say that as somebody who's been a customer for years. Do you see that old logo?
Yeah, look at that logo, man. That's classic, vintage Outdoor
Vitals. Yeah, this is an old bug net for a hammock that I bought from them, like, I think 6 or 7 years ago. I think I told you 5 years a little bit ago, but it's been longer than that. I think I got it in 2008. So that's a long time ago, man. And I've been a dedicated fan of Outdoor Vitals ever since. And one of the things that blows my mind about them, like I said, innovation. If you had a chance to do it this week and were able to get online, Devin from Backcountry Exposure did a video where he went on a hike with Brigham from Outdoor Vitals, where he was testing a prototype tent. I'm not going to say anything about it because I haven't been given permission to, but you can go watch the video. So go watch my buddy Devin's video and check out the tent. And I know for you and me, that's kind of exciting because that means eventually we can get our hands on one of those tents, which would be pretty dang cool. So, but big fan of Outdoor Vitals, have been for a long time. So thank you, Outdoor Vitals, for being the sponsor of this podcast. Jeremiah.
Yeah, check out the description. Click through that link. Go spend you some money. Sign up.
Go save some bucks, man. Go save some bucks on some really cool swag.
All right. So, dude, I don't know if you saw, but I got to hang out with an old friend today. I thought he was gone, but not forgotten.
Yep.
And
so what you're saying is he's mobile again, huh?
He's mobile. This person is Mr. Backpacking with Jason, sir. And oh, look at him there with his sweetie Dot. And who's that little boy?
Oh, I believe that's Jeremiah Jr., isn't it?
Uh-huh. Jeremiah Jerome Stringer II. Jason got to visit.
And look at that, 3 generations of backpacking with Dad right there.
I said, what do you want to be called? He said, Uncle Jay or J Pop. So we'll see what sticks, but
I call him Papaw Jason.
Yes, I love it. Backpacking with Grandpa. But he fed that baby, and then he said, I only got one shirt. And we were supposed to go out to eat after they got done visiting.
Yeah.
And every time he's ready to burp, he said, here, you can burp him. I only got one shirt. So he handed him off to me. And then I would have to burp him in case he was, spitting up on me.
Yeah.
And hand him back over, and he keep feeding him. But it was a great visit, and awesome. I have an official date. And I don't want to say it publicly where we're going or when we're going. But I'll tell you, late September. Right now, we got one on the books, man. I'm wanting to show Mr. Backpacking with Jason, sir, something local. And I'll paint a quick picture for you. It's a short trail. Remember, this guy has had muscle atrophy in his leg because he hasn't been able to walk for multiple months. We're trying to get him back out on trail. So I picked us a trail that's like half a mile to a quarter of a mile, and it's a giant lookout, overlooks basically Big South Fork, as it's heading toward Lake Cumberland.
That's awesome.
And I'd love if we can find a spot and hammock out there and just chill on the rock. And I figured 1 mile total wouldn't kill him. I offered to give him my e-bike, dude. I said, why don't you just ride this e-bike out on one of these little trails? But, and his significant other was all about it. She's like, yeah, use Jeremiah's e-bike. And he's like, no, I think I can walk. I think I can walk. And I'm like,
that's
bro,
pretty cool, man.
About to start physical therapy. So he's moving around. He's doing good.
Well, on my front, I didn't really talk about this much, but I injured my back about a month ago, pretty bad. And I just got the okay this morning from my chiropractor to start lifting weights again. So I'm pretty stoked about putting some muscle back on after losing all this weight. Because, man, anybody who's lost a lot of weight will tell you, you lose a lot of muscle when you lose weight. And it's almost unavoidable. I won't say it's completely unavoidable, but it's almost unavoidable. I watched a story of a guy the other day who lifts insane weights, and he said he lost about 20% of muscle when he lost weight, even though he was lifting weights the entire time. So
yeah, dude, when I was cutting weight, I feel like it was so hard. Of course, I was in a caloric deficit, but it was so hard to build muscle mass, even though I was weightlifting every day. And you're not going to believe this, man. School has started back, and I'm trying to get up early. And just to give you an idea of what my schedule normally would look like, this is pre-kids, right?
Right.
So I had to be at work.
People who are watching right now are seeing my eyes like super wide, like Jeremiah's getting up early. So go ahead.
It's terrible, by the way. Spoiler alert. It is terrible. But I think that if I can get it down, I might turn into a sunrise person on trail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know if that'll pan out, but here's been my plan so far. How to become a sunrise person instead of sunset person on trail. So I had to be at work, clocked in, and on your duty position. So for me, that's wherever they have me at.
Right.
And 7:45. And I used to live like 6 minutes from work. So if I had to be there at 7:45, I get out of bed about 7:10, 7:15, take a shower, get ready, head to work.
Uh-huh.
And then I moved 12 minutes away. So I had to start getting up at 7. And now I still live 12 minutes away, but I know that once Bridget goes back to work, because she's on maternity leave right now, I'll have to get up a lot earlier so we can start getting this baby ready and I can take it to daycare.
Right. Changes everything.
Yeah, changed everything. So I have went from getting up, remember, 7:10, 7:15, and now for the past 3 work days in a row, I've gotten up at 5:55. 5:55.
Buddy.
I know you're not impressed because you get up at like 3:15.
No, I don't get up at 3:15. No. I get up at 5:45 every morning. And what I have to do, because I have to get my kids off the bus, I'm in the office at about 7 every morning. And I usually leave around 3. But it looks like I'm maybe changing that to getting there around 6:30 and leaving a little bit earlier, just to make sure I'm in time for the bus when the bus gets to our house, because our bus gets to the house around 3:10. And so it takes almost 15 minutes to get home from work. So I'm kind of risking it if I get off at 3 and get back. So, I mean, kids know how to get into the house and they can lock the door behind them, but still, I don't know if that's a good idea to have a 6- and 7-year-old in the house by themselves. So, my days are a little early. I get to the office about 6:30.
Well,
So
I feel older and older the earlier I get up. And
it's not age. It's wisdom and responsibility. That's all it is.
Yeah, against my choice, but I will continue, and I am soliciting advice in the comments. If you all would, I know there's a lot of you all that get up 5 every morning, and my goal is maybe at some point I could get up 5 and hopefully get a workout in before work. So give me advice in the comments. Let me know how can I turn into a sunrise person so that whenever I get out there on trail, I can enjoy that moment
I mean, the
instead of
biggest one's going to bed earlier. That's the hardest part for me. I'm a night owl, so except when I'm on
me too.
trail. You want to hear the funniest thing about me, Jeremiah?
What is it?
I typically go to bed around midnight every night. Okay, it's just the way I am. I don't get a lot of sleep, but the moment I get on trail at 9 o'clock, I'm done.
It's that hiker midnight, man.
I'm telling you, dude, I am ready to pass out. I don't know what it is about being on trail that just makes me want to sleep. But maybe it's just the peace and quiet and the lack of children arguing with each other that does that. I don't know. But man, it's so funny. When I get on trail, I'm the old guy. I'm always the first one in bed. I don't know if you and I have ever gone backpacking where I wasn't the first person to go to bed.
Yeah, you usually hit it pretty early, but in the morning time, if you're walking around passing out fried bacon while everybody's still in bed, it's hard to argue. We say, yeah, just let him sleep.
Let the man sleep. He's bringing bacon.
Yeah,
I am doing something fun this Friday, though.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm taking my little boy out for an overnight.
Oh my goodness!
So,
yes,
yeah.
please take some pictures that we can share on here. I want to see your setup.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do an overnight, and then we're gonna get up the next morning and just hike around, just wander. We're gonna find some different trails with some cool views that I can take him on without very many cliffs because he's 6, and he's unpredictable at this point in his life. So I'm just gonna some level ground is what we're gonna be hiking on, but it's gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
If I remember correctly, you have UGQ quilts for the kids and like half sleeping pads. Are you
taking the 3/4? Yeah, 3/4 sleeping pads. I got them from Perea Outdoors.
Okay. And are you first of all, are you also taking a 3/4 for yourself? And
no.
That's a quick answer. Some people do that, dude. Some people they're going ultralight and they're either taking the foam pad or they're taking a pad. I don't really understand how they keep their feet warm. I've heard of people like sticking their feet in their backpack and stuff like that. And I just say, bro, what are you doing with your life if you're taking a 3/4 pad and sticking your feet in the backpack? But
not my
thing. Old hike your own hike, right?
Yeah, do you, bro? You do you. No, but Jack's got his own backpack. He's got a little Deuter backpack that's for kids. He'll carry his own sleep system, and then I'll carry everything else. So,
and y'all are doing which tent?
We're gonna do the Durston X Mid Pro 2.
Oh, yeah, you'll have enough room in there.
Oh yeah, and it's light, so that'll be helpful because I'm gonna have to carry his clothes, which aren't gonna be ultralight clothes because, well, they'll be ultralight because he's like small, but he'll probably have jeans to sleep in or something like that because he gets cold when it's like 80 degrees out. So he's like you.
Yeah, dude. It's the what we call it, skinny cold.
Mm-hmm.
Cold skinny.
Now I will say there's validity to that, man. Since losing weight, I get cold a lot easier. It makes me a little nervous because I've always camped warm. Like whenever I sleep, I always sleep warm. I'm a little nervous about what it's going to be like when I get out into the back country now, like because I haven't been out when it's cold yet since I lost all this weight. The closest thing to cold was in April when I went out on the gorge with Carl Mandrioli and his whole crew from Backpacking and Blisters. But that wasn't really cold. You know what I mean? It's like 55, something like that. It wasn't cold. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
The good thing for you, though, is since you're mostly hammock camp, is that you, even if you're hot, it's okay to bring that warmer underquilt because you can vent it.
Yeah.
Or at least the underquilts that I have, you can vent them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just loosen them up a little bit of air get in.
Well, speaking of, dude, the cold, I got to tell you, there's a Christmas in the air, even though it's 85 degrees out today. And you know what that brings? Is little fall weather.
I know, man. I cannot wait. Backpacking in Kentucky or in the South in general in the summer can be miserable.
Yeah, it's brutal. And I'll tell you one of my favorite things. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday and you're a college football fan, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're 3 days away from college football, week 0. Now I don't know.
Yes.
I know this ain't a sports podcast, and I do have multiple backpacking topics here in just a couple minutes, but I don't know if you've looked at the teams playing. I think they're playing in like Ireland or something, or at least one of the games is. I don't really know why you'd want to have a game over there. I don't think anybody's going to show up and watch it in person, but I'm pretty sure there's 4 games for week 0. And last year, I believe it was 8 games, and they whittled it down some. Oh, look at you. Got a camera? Oh, no, John. Why are you the way you are?
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
An Ohio State logo, or at least the colors, outlined inside the state of Ohio on his desk.
How can I not show it? How can I not show it?
I guess you have to. And I'm just excited for it to start, although I have been looking at Kentucky's record for football, and we have the potential to only win 6 games. But we could win all the way up to 9. So,
well, the problem for Kentucky right now is you're on 2 years of probation.
Yeah, but it doesn't suspend us from bowls. So,
it doesn't?
No, it's just a little slap on the wrist. I'll tell you what happens. We had players that were going that had on-campus jobs, and there was somebody signing off for them counting their hours, but they weren't actually showing up.
Yeah,
and so we had to make.
They got busted for stuff that wouldn't even be a problem now, but because it was 11 years ago, they have to enforce it. I mean,
yeah,
have to enforce it.
Yeah, have to by just saying you be a good boy. You be a good boy for 2 years and you're good to go.
I mean,
but
what was it Ohio State got busted for years ago? Their guys sold their own stuff and got like literally they sold necklaces.
And they got busted for it?
And they got busted for it, like for selling necklaces.
That's ridiculous.
Like if there was ever a more corrupt organization than the NCAA, I don't know what there is.
I did want to stick that in there, the week 0, man. I'm excited.
Saturdays are going to be fun.
September, baby. My birthday, fall is here. The weather gets better. The backpacking season's upon us. We got football. We got basketball. We got the Backpacking Podcast live streams coming September the 9th. It's all here for you, folks. NFL's going to be every night of the week.
I'm telling you, man. I'm getting so excited for the fall. I have always loved the fall. But when I got to be a backpacker, fall even took on more, man. Like, the best time to go backpacking is right when those leaves change colors.
Oh. You know what my favorite is? The Facebook groups. I don't know if I've mentioned this on here before, but if you go in the Facebook groups, and I think I'm just going to do it to troll this year, you gotta ask, like, so there's peak foliage in different spots at different latitudes. Latitudes from left to right, correct? Longitude would be up and down.
Yes. East to west, yes.
Yeah, so latitudes, there's different latitudes are going to have different peak foliage for the fall. You with me?
Yes.
So Red River Gorge, which is fairly local to us, we talked about it a lot on this podcast. There is like 100 Facebook groups dedicated to this one geological area. And what I like to do is scroll through the groups. I'm a member of a bunch of the groups, and some of the groups are really, really negative. And so any question that you ask is a wrong question. It doesn't really matter what it is.
Yeah.
It could be general stuff.
Yeah, I call it outdoors arrogance.
Yes. It's the Facebook police, dude.
Yeah.
So you go on these groups, and I like to scroll through, and especially when it's peak foliage time, because there's always a bunch of people, and I'm going to do this to troll maybe. Ask, is this going to be a good weekend to get the colors? Have I missed the colors yet? Stuff like that. And it's always like a string of comments like, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is, you're always too late. You're always like a week too late. You're always like, all the comments say, yep, you should have been here last weekend. There was nobody here. The weather was great. The foliage was immaculate. Here's 100 pictures that I took of all this amazing foliage. Better luck next year. That's the general vibe.
My favorite comment is,
what's that?
The response to that question is always, have you ever heard of Google? It's like, Yes, I've heard of Google, but I've also heard of this Facebook group that's supposed to like give information. So come
Yeah,
on,
I
man.
don't understand. I don't understand. People don't act like that in real life. You know, if you meet somebody on trail and you just talk to them, they're going to be a normal human being. But for some reason, those Facebook groups are so toxic.
Well, I think you find out the actual what's the word I'm looking for here? You find out who a person really is on Facebook. Because
Yeah.
in person they'll hide it. But when they
Mhm.
can hide behind a keyboard, then they let out their actual nature show. Some people are just nasty natured.
Yeah, and if you want to see it even worse,
Go to
go on
Reddit.
any platform there's anonymity, like Reddit, yes, or like X/Twitter. A lot of crazy stuff on there, man, because you can be anonymous. At least on Facebook, I mean, you don't have to like put your driver's license in or anything, but it's like,
You have
how
to
do I put?
create a special account to be anonymous.
Yes, you.
Because you can see who
I just
people's
feel like
friends
it's
are and
harder.
who their groups are they're in and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So it's kind of like community policed, if you will. You know,
Yep.
it's still none of those platforms are ideal, and they all have terrible issues that are surrounding them. But you know, at least with Facebook, you're not totally anonymous usually. I mean, you can be, but typically in those groups and stuff, it's real people. They're just like,
Exactly.
I'm just like, man, if we met in real life, I bet you'd be fun to have a coffee with or drink with.
I would
But
hope
in the
so.
not so much. But you know, we were talking about fall, dude. Change the subject here a little bit. To get into the mood of fall, we've been lighting cinnamon and pumpkin candles, and that is the beard oil flavor that I went to.
Oh.
It's actually it's brought to you by outdoorbeards.com is the beard oil that I use, or you can get balm if you're more into balm. But Outdoor Beards, if you check out their website, my favorite fall flavor is the grandma's pie. It smells like pumpkin pie. Also, you go with grandpa's pipe, which smells like pipe tobacco. It smells great, you know.
Oh,
And
love that
I
stuff.
cycle through them. Yeah,
No, I'm a
you have
big
a favorite
fan.
flavor?
I'm a big fan of the grandma's pie. I love that one, especially in the fall. Um, Also, they'll have some seasonal ones they come out with. They've got one
Yeah,
that's kind of a Christmassy peppermint one that you can use that is really nice as well.
yeah, and actually, they're one of our sponsors. So if you all want to have a luscious beard like myself or John, you can go to outdoorbeards.com, and whenever you check out, you can save 10% by using our code backpacking.
Backpacking. I
So
wanted
I
to
will
make that in
say,
stereo. I wanted to make sure that everybody heard that in stereo. Backpacking. That's the code. Backpacking. I don't know why
backpack.
that's the code. Okay, yeah, we know why it's the code. But it's backpacking. So make sure you use that. Speaking of great beards, Jeremiah, and thank you to Outdoor Vitals for being our sponsor. Speaking of great beards, check out this beard right here.
Oh
This
my
man right
goodness.
here is Bing Olbum. Now, I don't know why my screen just jumped a half a mile now, but it just did. But the title of this article is Beef Jerky, Salted Nuts, and Iodine Tablets Helped an 89-year-old hiker's very unlikely survival in Idaho wilderness.
Idaho, one of the most beautiful states, man. And I
It
think they try to
really
keep
is.
it secret. But we're about to blow it up here because what'd you say his name is? Oh,
Bing Olbum.
Bing. Okay. I'll just call him
Bing
Bing.
Olbum. He's 89 years old.
Well,
Okay?
his picture, if you all are just listening and not watching, it's an old guy with a safari hat and a long sleeve shirt, and he's got a traditional backpacking backpack on. And we'll unpack the article here a little bit because it's a crazy story. But do you know what his base weight was?
19 pounds. And that's
That's crazy,
that's
dude.
full gear though. That's not 19 pounds
Oh,
base weight. That's 19 pounds of gear.
okay. So full loadout, 19 pounds. So
19
89 years
pounds.
old. I want to say a prayer right now. Lord, please let me be able to carry 89 or excuse me, 19 pounds at 89 years old.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But here's the craziest thing. He was in the Salmon Chalice National Forest in Idaho, and he had planned on doing a 5-day backpacking trip for about 20 miles of hiking. Okay, he's 89 years old. 5 days, 20 miles, 19 pounds of gear, and the food that he brought with him was what we talked about before. I'm going to go back up here and say beef jerky and salted nuts. And he had iodine tablets to clean his water.
Well, I'm guessing, let's talk about the iodine tablets real quick first.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that the iodine tablets, he's an ultralighter. If he's going out there, what'd you say, 4 days?
5 days.
5 days. So if he's intending to go out for 5 days and he's only taking iodine tablets to treat his water and he's only at 19 pounds, I think he's a true, well, I don't know if you'd say ultralighter, but I mean, that's pretty close. And I think that he probably doesn't bring a filter because he doesn't want to carry that extra weight.
I would dare say you're probably right about that. I know I'm trying to look in here in the article and see what his actual, like, what was in his pack. Because it's kind of crazy to read what he actually had packed with him. I feel like he didn't even bring a tent. Like, he just brought a tarp to sleep under and a sleeping pad.
What was the name of the wilderness that he was in? Salmon.
Okay. The Salmon, I'm going to make sure I read this right because I don't want to get this wrong for people who are from Idaho. Salmon Chalice National Forest.
Okay. I was just Googling it real quick because I want to see what it looked like. Wow, dude. It's absolutely beautiful, first of all. But
you saying I need to look this up and put it on the screen?
Yeah, if you can. First of all, beautiful. Second of all, really rugged. This really reminds me of Colorado whenever we were out in the Holy Cross Wilderness. Like, above tree line, I mean, those mountains are pretty bare. I don't know what the elevation is, but like I said, pretty rugged. 4.2 million acres for this place.
Wow.
One of the largest national forests in the lower 48. And that article says it's basically as remote as Alaska when it comes to getting out there in the wilderness. So
yeah, this is gorgeous, man. Let me see if I can actually get these to, like, show up a little bit more full screen. Well, I'll save a few of the pictures. I'll save a few of the pictures and then I'll show them full screen. Yeah.
Okay. While you're working on that, I will tell a little bit about this story. So I actually found this story in one of those Facebook groups I was talking about, but it was Dixie from Homemade Wanderlust. She has her own Facebook group. And I was looking through it and I saw this story, and it's written by CNN. I was like, what is CNN writing this about this 89-year-old guy? I click on it, and this guy was lost in the wilderness, Salmon Chalice National Forest. He was supposed to go out there by himself. No, I don't know if he had any electronics, but they said he did not have like an SOS device or like something with a GPS on it. He only had paper map and compass. So obviously the guy's old school, but it must not have paid off because they searched for him for like 10 days, I believe it was. And they were literally calling off the search that afternoon/evening and was just going to leave it up to the family to basically recover the body. They were like, there's no way that he has survived this long out there by himself in this wilderness in these harsh conditions. And the only things he brought to eat, beef jerky, and what'd you say? Some kind of nuts or something?
Yeah. Salted nuts.
Bro, the ultralight sacrifice to only bring beef jerky and salted nuts. First of all, does that have any carbohydrates? The nuts have some carbs?
Yeah, the nuts have carbs. Yeah, nuts will have carbs. Okay, so
he's got carbs and fats from those salted nuts. And then his protein comes from only beef jerky. Can you imagine, dude?
That is
89
crazy.
Years old. Out there just surviving by yourself. And so they found him out in this wilderness, I believe on this 10th day, right as they were about to church off. And I said, I just gotta share this story on the podcast. So I sent it over to John. I was like, dude, you got to check this out. And I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on heading out there. No SOS. First of all, I mean,
That was my first thought. Was I think this is one of those times where you have to think to yourself, okay, why are you not carrying some kind of satellite device that's a beacon or that you can communicate with other people with? Because the reality is we live in 2024. And I'm not going to mansplain this old guy because let's just be honest. This dude is 89 years old and he's doing stuff I'm not going to I hope I get to do when I'm that age. But just because maybe he started backpacking 50 years ago doesn't mean you shouldn't start backpacking like it's 2024. And I think it's really important people understand, like, the problem with backpacking becoming so popular is the fact that now that it's so popular, more people are doing it, but they're also looking for more adventure and they're looking for places nobody's been to, which is becoming harder and harder to get. And as a result, you're finding a lot of people getting lost in the woods, a lot of people getting hurt. We're hearing about famous actors and actresses, or famous actors that are dying in the woods. You just got all this kind of stuff going on. Get a satellite communicator, man. Get something that's gonna protect you.
I don't have like anything that we're paid for to plug here on the satellite communicators and stuff, but I mean, I think even if you get like a Garmin or something and you don't pay for the plan, you still can use the SOS.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be like a $5 fee a month or something, but it says here that he went over some peaks that were 8,000 feet and covered over 20 miles. And when they found him, he wasn't like desolate. He was just mildly dehydrated and tired from all the walking, but we probably would be too if you're out there lost and by yourself and don't know which direction to go.
Well, yeah, 100%. 100%.
I was going to tell you one other thing about this guy, but I don't know where it was. Oldham had lightly packed for his backpacking trip. His only food for the excursion was beef jerky, salted nuts, and iodine tablets to purify water. And he also packed a one-man tent, a blanket, and a pad to sleep on.
That's nuts.
He didn't have any tracking devices on him and only a compass and paper and a map.
Yep.
And he didn't make a single fire, but it was from the 40s to 90-degree weather during the daytime. 40s at night, obviously. 90s during the day. And they asked him if he wanted to have an interview, and he's like, no. Which I don't blame him. You know, if at that age you probably you're like, no.
Well, and let's be honest. Why are they interviewing him? Because he got lost in the woods. I'm sure this is not one of those moments in his life where he wants to talk about that. This is probably more frustrating for him than anything. So he probably is kind of thinking, I don't really want to talk about this. I mean, that's how I would be. I wouldn't want to talk about it. If everybody was like, hey, let's talk about you getting lost in the woods, Mr. 89-year-old man, I'd be like, you know what? How about we don't talk about that? That's just me, though.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I do want to talk about. So he brought a one-man tent and a blanket, not a sleeping bag, not a quilt, a blanket and a pad. It doesn't say what kind of pad, but I was wanting to ask you, when it comes to this gear that you're taking, I also saw this on Facebook. Some people arguing about your gear, and one person was saying my gear has the funk. Oh, you got I
got some pictures up. Yeah, I figure I'll see if I can't get these to kind of pop up now so we can kind of look at these. I figure I'll show them while you're talking.
Yeah. So we got it's a little zoomed out, but it looks like a lot of peaks. Looks like everything is snow capped. I wonder how high the elevation does go. I mean, 8,000 feet.
Yeah, let's see if I can zoom these in so people can see them.
It looks like an endless supply of mountain range.
It's Beautiful, isn't it?
Everything's snowy, dude. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous, but it looks like you'd die up there.
Oh, this was a really cool picture. It's a little like cabin. It says the higher you get, the higher you get.
I love it, man.
So
I
I've
wonder
never
who
even
stays
heard of this
there.
place before.
Me either. I wonder if you got to have a permit to go out there.
I'm thinking all of our friends from Idaho have been holding out on us. If you are a
Well,
listener from Idaho, how have you not told us about this place before?
It says they have a ton of trails. I mean, that's not surprising. A couple of them that's listed is the Cane Lake Trail and the Langer Lake, and the next one's Summit Creek. So, I mean, you showed several lakes in there in the picture. Like there, you have a gorgeous lake.
That's just beautiful.
So I'm sure a bunch of them looks like Bear Creek Lake. A bunch of them, I'm sure, around lakes. But I'll have to do some more research. I would love to head back out toward the west and hit up Idaho.
Well, I know right now I am currently working on the possibility of a trip out west in February or March. So I might be getting to do some desert hiking.
This upcoming year?
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm working with a buddy of mine. We're trying to figure out a potential desert hike out west. So we'll see what happens.
Get you some of those gaiters so the sand can't get in your shoes. Or maybe I've
got those. I got those, buddy.
Some dirty girl gaiters.
No, I got some like ultra gators or something like that. Do the same thing. And I got them for free from somewhere. So
yeah, but with the dirty girl gators, you can get wildly inappropriate gators to put on your feet.
Because you know us ministers, that's something we like to do.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they got some very risque ones.
I'm sure they probably do.
So I was going to ask you about this cleaning your gear after getting the funk.
Oh man!
So I think I've mentioned this before, but on the long trail, whenever we got done, I went to Birdie's house, which is a person in my trail family. His mom wouldn't let me inside until she like brought me clothes to the garage that I could change into and made me take my clothes down to the laundry so she could wash them. She would not let me in her little house. So
how old were you? Like 26? Or were you like 25, 26?
I was about the same age as her son. I'd say that was 2018. So yeah, around 26.
You were just a young 26. Guy back then, man.
Oh, I still am. Man.
You were just a young buck. Oh, now you're an old man. You get up at 5:55 in the morning, and you're a dad.
Well, we're getting older by the day. One day closer to death. Doesn't that make you happy?
Man, I've been one day closer to death. Like times how many compared to you?
I know.
It's a lot of days for me, man. It's a lot of days. No, but you're talking about the funk? My wife won't even let me in the house, man. She won't even let me in the house. Like, she'll let me in the house, but she will not hug me when I walk in the door. If I get back from a trip, the first move is she points to the shower. I am to get a shower immediately and get out of those clothes and throw them immediately in the washing machine because she does not want to smell me.
It's the funk, dude. Caveman told me he was like Birdie's best friend that he did the long trail with. Caveman told me from the previous year, he had through hiked the Appalachian Trail. And we're at one point, you're walking down trail. You got all the time in the world and you've talked about everything. For some reason, we were talking about our clothes. And he said, yep, as a sacrifice to the backpacking gods, whenever I got done with the Appalachian Trail, I had to burn my outfit. And he's like, plus the shirt smelled so bad.
Now that's extreme, man. You don't have to do that.
He said it smelled so bad, it's uncleanable, dude. Do you have anything? Let's say you've walked 2,200 miles in a shirt. Every step's in this shirt, dude. This polyester, old, nasty, worn out. I use a professional fishing gear shirt from Columbia or whatever, even if it's Outdoor Vitals new infused with silver shirt. After 2,200 miles, how do you get the funk out? All right, let's see
this stuff right here.
Nick Wax.
Nick Wax Tech Wash. Okay. Yeah, now I don't know if that's the specific one, but they make one that like literally you kind of wash your clothes in a sink, and it it gets all that funk out, because that's a lot of the problem is, you get so much funk in your clothes that you've got to get that stuff out. I'm trying to remember what the stuff is that really gets it good. But there's a wash that you can get that you use that stuff, and it literally, you think something's clean, and then you wash it with that, and while it's washing, you see all this stuff coming out of it, and you're thinking to yourself, I just washed this like 4 times. But somehow it gets all the stuff that stuff doesn't get out. And makes a huge difference, man. Makes a huge difference.
Now, you know about washing your stuff in the coffee pot, right?
No, that's a new one.
We talked about that.
No, I don't know that one.
Okay, so this is old wives' tale. I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe ChatGPT or Google can tell us or something. Word on the street is pilots and flight attendants, they go hotel to hotel and they wash their underwear in the coffee pot. Now,
wait. Let's start that over again. Who does this?
Okay.
And
well, they're not the only ones.
Let's start over again. Tell me the exact story you just told me.
Pilots and flight attendants hopping hotel to hotel.
So we don't know if we're at a hotel that some pilot or stewardess or somebody was in that room and used the coffee maker that I'm about to drink coffee out of to wash their skivvies.
Well, it's sanitized, man. It's boiling hot water. The question is, do you drink, after learning this, do you drink the hotel, if you have a coffee pot in your room? Most of them are Keurigs now. If you have a coffee pot in your room, I think they've done away with most of the coffee pots in the hotels, but some of those dingy hotels, motels that you stay in whenever you're backpacking and, you're doing a through hike and you need just some place for $35 so you can shower and spend the night and you're splitting the room with somebody. There's a coffee pot. You can get boiling hot water from that coffee pot and soak your funky shirt, your funky underwear, and you can wash it up in the coffee pot.
Man, dude, that's making me sad right now.
Did I just ruin hotel coffee for you for the rest of your life?
I'm like, hotel coffee is never good to begin with. Let's just get that one straight. Okay? But man, dude. Oh, that's gross.
Me and Backpacking with Jason have traveled quite a bit to do backpacking. And usually we'll leave and we'll arrive near the trailhead and stay at a hotel or a motel the night before. And he taught me a little travel hack, dude. He said, you drink K-cups at the house. Just bring a few with you, and then you can have whatever coffee you have at the house before we hit the trail. So that's my advice to all you people out heading for a backpacking trip and you're staying at a hotel. A lot of them have Keurigs in the room now. And if you use K-cups at home, take them with you. Then you can have glazed donut shop coffee or whatever you drink. I think that's what Bridget has down here.
Yeah.
And you don't have to drink the swampy toilet water underwear soup from the coffee pot.
I mean, whatever you say, dude. Oh man, I'm just so disappointed right now.
So you say use that Tech Wash by Nick Wax, and
I found the right one. It's actually called Base Wash. Let me pull it up. I'm gonna get a good image of this so I can throw it up on the screen so you can see it. Because this is
the same brand.
It's the same brand. Yeah, it's the same brand. But I want to pull it up on the screen so you can see it. Here we go. This is it's on Amazon, but it's Nick Wax Base Wash. And it's a deodorizing cleaner for sports clothing and activewear. It's specifically to get the stink out of clothes like that. And people who play, did you ever play soccer or hockey?
I played football, and we had to wear girdles around our midsection.
Okay,
so talking about
stinky. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, those things seem like you can never get the smell out. Well, that's what this stuff is for, is to get that smell out.
Do you have to use it before it's here's my problem. It mildews or something. I don't know. It's just that whatever that gunk is, that funkiness that gets in there, and it's permanently staining it in smell, not in color. Okay. And I just feel once that gets in there, I can't get it out.
Okay, do
Looks
you
like you
read
got
what? Are you
some
seeing this thing right here? It says, "This product is a godsend. I run several days a week, and my base layer, pants, and tops always have a funk in certain areas that just wouldn't go away. I would pre-treat and scrub the problem areas before normal washes, but the stench was still there. I ran across this product on a YouTube channel for trail running and figured I'd give it a try. I read the good and bad reviews and decided to take a chance, and it worked." So, I mean, that's
What's
somebody
that
who does
person?
trail running, which is, I mean, hiking, but
What's that
faster.
person? What's their name?
This person is Maya.
Maya. I don't know. I don't trust anybody named Maya. Not a single one.
Here's one. Amazing. I seriously love his surgeon. My husband and I both work out a good bit, and he hikes and camps. I've not been able to find anything that truly cleans out our dry fit gear rather than just covering up odors with loads of perfume. So, I mean, this is the stuff that everybody seems to think works. So,
Well, I got to tell you, whoever left that last review about covering up with perfume, there's no covering up that funk. You just human funk.
yeah, it actually makes it worse because now you've got the funk mixed with like wash smell.
Yeah, it's like that person at work that poops in the work bathroom and then uses like I don't know. I think the cinnamon spray does probably the best job of masking it.
Yeah.
But they just spray like the Hawaiian scented Febreze or whatever, and then you go in there and you're like, bro, now it smells like poop and Hawaii in here, and
It smells like Axe body spray is what it smells like.
Oh, don't get me started.
It smells like fecal matter and Axe body spray.
Yeah, I would rather just smell the poop. Hot take. I would rather just smell the poop. Put that on a t-shirt. I'd rather.
Who knows? Maybe that could be one of our first t-shirts we sell.
I hope not.
I'd rather just smell the poop.
I hope we got something better. Okay, so you say to get that funk out. That's what you use, and I've used their down wash. Nick Wax. They have a bunch of products. They make good stuff. There's one other thing I think I was wanting to talk to you about today, and I guess we can wrap the show with this. So we mentioned, I don't know if we said it right, but Havasu Falls on the last episode.
Yeah.
And we got an email because to go there, there's like a wait list. So we kind of learned this on air producing while we're doing the show, Googling and people commenting and stuff. And during that live stream, we learned that there's a huge wait list. It's hard to backpack there, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's like Arizona, Grand Canyon.
It can be anywhere from $300 or $450 to get a permit.
Yeah, and that's for like a 3 or 4 day permit.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, should we cap how much it costs for different permits to access different areas? Or it may be too close to communism. I'm not sure. I'm all about freedom here.
Yeah.
But should we cap those permit prices? And how much is too much? Is $100 a day too much for a permit, even if it's a highly populated area?
Well, I'll start off by saying I think Havasu Falls is actually a Native American owned property. So it's technically not quote unquote American soil. So I don't think the government has any way of controlling what they charge for that. I think that's theirs to control. I don't think we have any say in that one way or the other. So as far as that goes, I don't think we have a say in that. And if I'm wrong, somebody leave a comment and everything, but I'm pretty sure that's Native American land. So because of that, we would have no say in what they charge for that. Now, when it comes to property that's owned by the government,
let's say Daniel Boone National Forest or something,
the government should cap that because we're paying taxes on it. Not that I'm paying enough taxes on that property that I'm paying for anything specific from the property, but we are paying taxes towards that. So of course the government should be able to cap that. But at the same time, I will say this: underfunding is a big problem with national forests. It's a big problem with national parks, and they're undermanned, underfunded, and the organizations that are working in like say the Daniel Boone, they're working on a shoestring budget, but people want like a caviar experience. you
Oh,
know?
I like that.
And so it's like you can't have both. So if you want them to be better taken care of, you want them to have more amenities and things like that, then they're probably going to have to charge more. I don't like it, but that's probably reality.
So a lot of places do one of two things, and I'm curious which you prefer. A lot of places either charge you a per day fee for a pass, or you can buy like a seasonal pass. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have one for the Gorge, and I think it's 50 or $60 a year.
Right.
So that's option one, paying for passes. You know what the other option is?
Paying for campsites.
Yeah, paying for campsites, or not just like campsites, but like parking in general, because that's the
Yeah.
whole deal with campsites and getting to the trailhead and taking up space with your vehicle.
And that's where
Is
like the America the Beautiful pass is really nice. I've got one. I get one every year. I think it's like $80, but you get free parking in any national park and national forest in the country.
So when you go to the Gorge, do you have to get a pass for them as well? Is that like a they hit you twice type deal, or?
Yeah, that's more for like if you're going to a bigger park, like that has actual like fees for parking and fees for entrance, like Yellowstone and places like that. Some parks will they're not supposed to, but some will actually acknowledge that as your backcountry parking permit. Some won't. I believe that Daniel Boone has pretty much let that be a thing, but I think that's changed now. You definitely have to get the 3-day permits for them, or they will fine you. So, but I've hiked several times in the Red River Gorge and never bought the 3-day permits or a year permit when I had the America the Beautiful in my windshield.
Well, I've been to a bunch of places in Daniel Boone National Forest, and it's like some places, like the Gorge, for example, you're paying for a parking pass. So I don't know, it's $5 a night or $3 a night or something, or $5 for 3 nights. They went up a little bit, just like
Yeah.
everything else. But
Yeah.
some other places I can park, and there's nobody policing the area because there's no fee to park. And then
Right.
other areas I've went to, like in Big South Fork, I don't know if that's technically Daniel Boone National Forest. I think it's kind of separate.
No, it's its own thing. Yeah.
Okay. And when I go there, I had to go online. I guess it's the National Park Service, nps.gov. And you go on their website and click Big South Fork and tell them where you're starting, where you're ending. You need your license plate number and how many nights you're going to be out there. But it's like they'll give you, I think, up to 6 or 8 people in multiple vehicles for $5, for like a week or something. It's like insanely cheap.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, they're two different. Like the Daniel Boone's a national forest, so it's part of the National Forest Service. The other one's part of the National Park Service. So it's two different. It's two different entities.
But we say that these are underfunded, and I don't know if we need more rangers or just more people that can help. With trail maintenance and that kind of stuff and making sure it's accessible. But what's the right answer on increasing the funding? Do you just say the government needs to award them more, or they need to charge more for passes?
I think it's like anything else in the world. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, like the one that's making the most noise. So Yellowstone, Smoky Mountains, the bigger national parks, national forests, they're probably going to get more attention because more people are there. So they're probably going to get the most funding. They're probably going to need the most funding. Big South Fork, unfortunately, doesn't get traveled near as much as it should because it's a beautiful area. But it just doesn't have the traffic. It doesn't have the foot traffic or the car traffic that you see on like Smoky Mountains. I mean, just south of us. Smoky Mountains, I think, is the most visited national park in the country. And millions of people go there every year.
Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword, though. It's like I love that I go to Big South Fork and then you don't see anybody. But at the same time, there's certain sections where you're like, oh, this needs some more love. But it's also going to get trampled down and stuff because more people are going. So it's like you can't have both. Like you were saying earlier with this, the string budget, but then the caviar experience. It's like, which do you want? Do you want to be out there and be alone? or do you want it to be nicer?
Yeah, yeah.
So you
Well, and
can't.
like that's like what is it, the wilderness area there in the Rutherford Gorge?
Clifty.
Yeah, Clifty Wilderness. That's pure rustic. I mean, there's no getting around it. That is not caviar experience and never will be, because it's meant to be that way. And for some people, that's what they want. Um, and so you're not gonna have to worry about a lot of things out there. But if you're gonna do some nicer areas, you're probably gonna have to pay a premium to get to the nicer areas. I mean, you want to get a 1-star hotel? It's gonna cost you $25 a night.
Yeah, that's that backpacker life right
Yeah,
there. That's the
you could get bed bugs and there might be roaches in the room or mice, but it's only $25. Or you spend $500-600 a night and get you a nice 4-star hotel, and you got all the amenities. You got your own hot tub. You got maybe a balcony overlooking the ocean. It's great, but you're gonna pay for what you get. So I think that's what a lot of people have to realize. Either you can have like the really nice inexpensive experience, or you can have the really nice experience, but you're not going to get both.
I was just thinking, I was giggling to myself. We done the Foothills Trail, and that was my first time in an econo lodge. And I like, Kristen and I kept backpacking, and we had our spouses to figure out, like, find us a hotel, get us some food, so that whenever we're done, we'll be done late. Let's just go crash, get a pizza or something. And they got an econo lodge. Of course, at the time, we're backpacking. We spent all of our money on backpacking stuff.
Right.
And, the podcast and YouTube's not really making any money that's going to cover my trips. At least now it can help.
I don't think the podcast was around yet at that point.
No, I don't think it existed yet.
Yeah.
And, we're just two broke teachers that took a spring break and wanted to go walk in the woods. So there's not really a whole lot of money floating around at that time.
Right.
And they got us an econo lodge, and I think we split the room. So all 4 of us stayed in that same room, and it was probably $45-50. And I remember like laying down on the bed, and I was like, what in the world? And I like tried to switch over, scoot around, toss,
Was it the
turn.
springs?
It felt like I was laying on a piece of cardboard, dude, crawling up under a truck to change the oil. It was not good. That's when I said, econo lodge, no more. I got to at least find a Holiday Inn or something.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
This is rough. I mean, it felt better sleeping on my thermarest pad in the woods than it did in this econo lodge. So I said, this is economy for a region, or for a reason. It's not for me, but yeah.
And I don't have a problem with the parks charging and all that. I think it can go too far, but I can also see where maybe in some place it hasn't gone far enough, and they're not able to take care of the place like they should. Land Between the Lakes would probably be one of those places.
Yeah, they've been hit hard too because of the fishing. Like the Asian carp has really taken over the area, and that used to be booming fishing, but those are so invasive that I think it's hurt the fishing economy, which in turn hurt the ecotourism because it was a ton of fishermen. They come, set up their camper at LBL, then they got both lakes, and now both lakes are.
Well, and they can't take care of the area as well as they can. They had a tick infestation they couldn't do anything about, and they actually told me not to hike there.
Wow, really?
Last year, I was going to do it as part of the Outdoor Vitals 100-mile challenge, and I called and asked about the trail, and because I was looking for water supplies and stuff like that. And one of the guys goes, man, with the ticks the way they are right now, you don't want to come here and hike.
Yeah, and they have pretty heavy permits there too. Yeah. I remember I got one, and I was able to camp and squirrel hunt at the time. And of course I had my fishing license. And dude, I guess whoever's in charge at the federal budget level at that aspect, I don't know if they didn't agree on something or they're still having to vote or whatever, but there was a government shutdown, and I'm sure we all lived through it. I don't remember how long it lasted, but I do remember that I paid for a campsite and I paid for these permits, and there was a park person that came and locked the bathrooms, and then they were off work. I mean, their government wasn't paying them anymore. And I guess this is a federal thing. And I was like, dude, I paid, and you all put a padlock. It took everything in me not to take an angle grinder to that padlock.
I know.
And, cut that sucker off. and use the bathroom because I was like, this is ridiculous. You can't at least give me a hole in the ground to poop in?
Right.
For this whole camp area. But whatever, what can you do, man? What can you do?
Well, and the unfortunate thing is anytime the government is running it, you know that election years are going to be fun.
It's going to be, if the government's running it and it's like a national park or something.
There's going to be a lot of posturing and people fighting each other and government shutdowns. And, oh, gosh, man, it just gets ridiculous after a while.
Slow and inefficient.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They should just let us run with it. Give us millions and millions of dollars to fix the national parks.
Bro, it would be even worse if I was running it. It'd be so much worse. I just had to go disappear at one of those and, you know, drink some coffee on top of a mountain and build me a house up there and watch it burn.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't know where to start.
Oh, no joke. Well, dude, this has been fun. This has been good. And I think we need to have an episode where it's a live stream. And I would really like to ask people their ideas on what it costs to go backpacking and what it costs to get permits. I'd love to get the input from the Backpacking Podcast Nation because I think they could help us out knowing a whole lot better what we need to know.
Yeah, get some different perspectives, different regions, because we have listeners all over, man. I know, you know, we talk a lot about East Coast stuff because we're over here in Kentucky, but West is pretty crazy, man. I can't wait to get out there and check it. It's so unbelievable, dude. If you look at
it's not like being on the East Coast, man. It's not like being on the East Coast.
Different world, dude. And I want to get back out there.
I hear that. Hey, and for everybody wondering, Jeremiah mentioned it just a few minutes ago, but our first episode back on the live streams is September 9th. Now, those of you who paid attention to episode 2 weeks ago, we told you pay attention because the next episode, you might get a notification of some kind. And we were live last week, and we had several people that were tuned in that night and joined us for the live stream. That was a pop-up live stream. Lots of fun. But our next live stream is going to be September 9th. And Jeremiah, who is our guest for the September 9th episode?
That's Sally Chaffin Brooks, the author of her memoir, Going to Maine.
Going to Maine.
Yeah, we're going to unpack that. I mentioned before, she's a stand-up comic, an author, a podcaster. So she's going to be very entertaining. It'll be a fun show. And we get to hear a little tale of history of her backpacking through hiking experience. Book was fantastic.
It's gonna be a good time, and I know it's gonna be hilarious. I mean, it's not often you get a comic, like a comedian, on your show. So it's gonna be fun having her on here. We've also got some other great guests that are gonna be coming up as well. We got one that's an overlanding duo of guys that were just out west and have some killer footage of driving through the West with a Bronco and camping out with the Bronco. So it should be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to several other episodes coming up as well.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a fun fall season. We're here, baby.
We're here. And so are my Buckeyes. So with that said, for myself and Jeremiah Stringer, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Adios, folks.